What's up, everyone? It's Ruby here, bringing you guys another video. So today, I wanted to start a sort of series of me giving my honest opinions on various games that I've played in the past, or am currently playing. But we're gonna start with the game that kind of started my channel. Game that I originally streamed and still stream to this day, and that is Skyrim. I won't lie, Skyrim is a game that is near and dear to my heart. I've been playing it for a while. Came out in 2011, and I've been playing it since, so that's 9 years of playing the same game, and I can't say that I've done the same thing for any single game ever. I've dedicated time to games, but I haven't committed to games like that. And so, obviously, there's a bit of bias to when it comes to a game like Skyrim, because I've pretty much grown up with it. It's been with me thick and thin through various moments in my life, and I would say that while Skyrim isn't necessarily my favorite game of all time, it's definitely up there, and for good reason, I think, as well. I think that, for me, Skyrim is the perfect game that I can say, yeah, these are the types of games that I really enjoy playing. I get the most out of them. I get my money's worth 100%. And it's a game that I can do whatever I want. I can always rely on it. Like, even if I'm going through this phases of trying different games and not really liking them, I can always know that I can fall back to Skyrim. That is something that is in high praise of any game, because I can like a game but not have passion for it, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not like any other game is worse. It's just that Skyrim is able to touch me in places that no other game can, really, or at least no other game really has. I've had moments of adrenaline where I really enjoy a game, and then it's just fallen flat. Kind of like Fallout 4, actually. I don't hate Fallout 4. In fact, I really enjoy it as well. We've been streaming that game as well. We will be doing a game review of that. But Fallout, it's interesting because Fallout and Skyrim are often compared together. Fallout and Elder Scrolls in general are often compared with each other because they're from the same studio, they're the same type of game, but they're also different, right? Just because you like Elder Scrolls doesn't necessarily actually mean that you're going to like Skyrim, Fallout, because there is a difference to them. And I'm not talking about just, Fallout 4, because obviously Fallout 4, while it is a good game, it's not necessarily the best of the Fallout franchise. I'm just talking about the Fallout franchise in general, because there's still different genres, even if they are similar in game style. So there's always going to be a difference in the way that Fallout translates to someone versus how Elder Scrolls translates to someone. Whether it's going to be a good thing or bad thing, that's more up to the individual than anything else. Skyrim, I don't know what it is about Skyrim. Maybe it's the fact that I did grow up with it. Pretty much. But 9 years is a whole lot to dedicate to a game. Not obviously that's not consecutively. Like I haven't been playing 9 years Skyrim 24/7. But it's always had its presence in my life, and I think that is kind of the key, where it has been able to act as a tool for me to use in order to enjoy, forget the world exists. Like I can easily forget that the world exists by just playing Skyrim, because there's always something to do in Skyrim. Even if I've played it a million times, I can always have a different experience. And I think that's also the key, right? There's certain games that even if I enjoy, I can't necessarily play them 50 times. Like there's certain games where you can only play them so much before it gets overdone and no longer fun. And in a way, I would almost argue that Mass Effect is another game series that I really enjoy, but fits into that category where I would not be able to play that game, Mass Effect, the trilogy, the full trilogy. I would not be able to play the full trilogy 50 times. I would say that consecutively, I would be able to play it 3 times, and then I'd get sick of it. I know because I have. And that's not to say that the Mass Effect is bad. It's just not a game that's all in all replayable for so many years. You can come back to it. You can like, oh, I want to check out this game again. I want to remind myself what it's like to play this game. But it's not the same as wanting to play just for the heck of it, right? That's kind of what Skyrim is to me. That is always what it's been. And yes, there are issues with the main game. However, those issues can easily be fixed with mods. And you might say, well, you shouldn't have to rely on mods to make the game good. And I would say, you're correct. You should not have to rely on mods to make the game that you're playing good. However, they can help the experience, because once you played the vanilla version 50 times, okay, you're going to want to go to something else. And that's not necessarily changing games, but simply changing your experience. And I think that is the key. And I think that having games like Skyrim that can be adapted, and of course any game could be modded, okay, I'm not saying that it can't, but the experience is not necessarily different just because you mod it. A lot of the times when people add mods to various games, it simply is just to enhance graphics. Maybe it adds 1 or 2 things to the gameplay, but overall, you can't really change the mechanics of a game with mods. It's doable, but not really, right? The core of the game is always going to be the same, no matter how many mods you add to it. So at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy the core of the game, 50 mods is not going to make a difference. However, Skyrim is a game that is the only game, actually, that I always heavily mod. Well, not always heavily mod, but it's the only game that I have heavily modded. There has been a point where I've had over 100 mods running at the same time. And actually, that's a low number for most people, right? I feel like I only need 100 mods or less in order to enjoy the experience of Skyrim so many times, because it's also what I've explained in my live streams, that Fallout is a game where even though you have mods to enhance your experience, you can only do so many different builds, right? Like, how many different builds can you do? One with guns, with a different type of guns, maybe a melee, but melee isn't really doable in Fallout. Like, you can't really do that. Maybe you do heavy guns, maybe you do light guns. Like, at the end of the day, it's just gonna be guns. Like, the only thing that you can do differently about Fallout is the types of characters you play. You could do, like, a chaotic evil character, or you could do a lawful good character. Like, you can change the alignments, and that will change the experience. Whereas Skyrim, you can do a billion different builds and never get tired of the game. You could do a mage, you could do a warrior, you could do a thief, you could do a battle mage, you could do an alchemist, you could do a merchant, you could do an assassin, you could do a dragonborn, you could do a monster hunter, you could do a dog, you could do anything, really. And there's so many different builds you can get out of. And while there's not a whole lot you can do with the base game, there's a whole lot you can do with mods. Mods can even inspire you to do a certain build. For example, there's elemental there's an elemental magic mod that adds basically avatar like powers. You can bend earth, water, fire, air, the whole 9 yards, and then you can just make an elemental mage. And you can make a dwarven warrior, you can make a dwarven archer. There's so many different builds you can do, so many different races you can play, and I think that's also the key, is that there's different races you can play. So just because you play a Nord 50 times doesn't mean you have to play a Nord 50 times. You can play a Nord, you can play an Argoni, you can play a Khajiit, you can play an Altmer, you can play a Bosmer, you can play a Dunmer, you can even add different races with mods. It's like, even though the base game, the vanilla game, is not necessarily the best game ever. I would never say that Skyrim is the best game ever, by the way. But it is a game that has a lot of potential. And to certain people, it will hit hard. Because to certain people who enjoy RPGs, people who enjoy fantasy, people who enjoy creativity, being able to do whatever you want in games, people who love to mod the hell out of their games. Even if you're on console now, you can mod the game to your enjoyment. There are so many amazing mods, and I do think that this is the key to where Skyrim is actually one of my favorite games, because of the modding community and because of the community in general. Okay, there's a lot of fandoms that are toxic. League of Legends, basically any competitive community, pretty toxic for reasons. Valid, maybe not, but there are reasons why they are toxic. But Skyrim is a community where, while there are some toxic players, there's not really that many toxic people. To the point where I know plenty of Skyrim streamers that have not really encountered too many trolls. And that is when they were only streaming Skyrim. Now, obviously, if you branch out and it's Twitch, it's different. But for the most part, the community is very passionate. The community is very involved. And the community is very helpful and not really hateful. For the most part, if you are playing Skyrim for the first time, your experience is mostly going to be people trying to help you. Not insult you, but help you. They'll give you tips. They'll tell you what to do. It's kind of like the Minecraft community, except less 9-year-olds. It's just like, there's so many games to go through, but Skyrim is a game that I think I will always fall back to. Like, even if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, and I'm sure that when it comes out, I will definitely play it. I will definitely stream it, and I will actually enjoy streaming it as well, because for the first time, I will be able to play an Elder Scrolls game completely blind. Okay? I've already played Oblivion. I don't necessarily remember Oblivion, but I played it. I played the heck out of the arena. I played the arena. Literally all I did in Oblivion was play the arena. I played the arena so many times. The fighting arena, so many times. That's literally all I did. Like, I created a character, I went to the arena, I fought through the arena, and then I created a new character. It's like, that's literally all I did. But it was fun. Until I found Skyrim. And then, Skyrim kind of overtook it. And it's been the game ever since. It's been the game that I always rely on. And even though, like, I know that there's problems with the base game, the original base game, okay? Like, the first one that came out in 2011, there were so many bugs, it's not even funny. But take it from a person who has bought the game at least 3 times. I bought it on 360, I bought it on Xbox One, and then I bought it on PC. And technically, I had a 4th copy, but, that one was technically free, but I technically bought the game 4 times, and, I only, full price, maybe, like, twice, but, as someone who's dedicated a lot of hours, like, let's see how many hours I have on Steam alone. This is not counting the time that I've spent in the game, on 360, on the Xbox One. This doesn't factor in any of that. This is simply just the PC. This is simply just on Steam. And let's see, where is it? I think it's up here, actually. Okay. So, in Skyrim Special Edition, I've dedicated 49 hours on Steam. And then in Skyrim, I've dedicated almost 1,000 hours. Now, that's not too much because because I've been playing it on 360 way longer than I've been playing it on PC. That's the simple answer. I've been playing on Xbox way longer than I've been playing it on PC. I don't even know what my Xbox hours are. I don't even have the ability to check. But, like, there's a reason why Skyrim is a game that I keep going back to. And so, I really enjoy it. There's definitely issues. I think the main issues are with the combat system. I think the combat system, it works, but it doesn't let you do a lot. And I think that's one of the issues. There's many issues with Skyrim, but that's one of the issues that should be changed for Elder Scrolls 6 is the combat system. I don't know exactly what they could do, but it would be nice to have an update and have it be something that you can really do much more with. It feels a lot of the time clanky and clunky, and it feels slow at times. I mean, it doesn't have any perks to really speed you up, but for the most part, it is kind of slow because you kind of have to do like one person at a time type of thing, whereas in other games you can kind of like jump back and forth like in Batman. So there's definitely issues there, and definitely like the magic is not balanced at all. Like for NPCs it's way overpowered, and for players it's not powerful at all. So there's certain things like that where it needs to be balanced. But for the most part, Skyrim is a game that you can adapt to be whatever you want and be the game that you find enjoyable. I wouldn't necessarily recommend Skyrim for everyone, but there's definitely a handful of people that I would recommend it to. I would definitely recommend playing it at least once, just to know what it's like. You're never gonna know if you like it if you never try it, right? But at the same time, I can say that there are certain people that I know probably wouldn't like it. If you're not really into RPGs in the first place, you're not gonna like the Outer Scrolls. You're not. Just the whole series, you're not gonna like it. Because, I mean, it goes with anything. Like, if you don't like a particular genre, you're probably not going to like games that are in that genre. Like, if you don't like FPSs, you're not gonna like Call of Duty. Period. Like, it's a no-brainer, right? But those are my honest thoughts on Skyrim. And I'm planning on doing more of these on various different games that I've played, streamed. Fallout is upcoming. Minecraft, we're gonna do them all. We're gonna do every game that I've played that I remember. And we're just gonna go through them all, telling my honest thoughts about the game and its community as well. So get ready for those because we're gonna be diving into them all. Don't forget to catch me live every day except Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, guys. It's been a blast.